A 200-pound Boerboel sat in a shelter outside Boise, Idaho for 117 days because every single family that came to see him took one look at his size and walked away. He was too big, too powerful, too intimidating to have around children, they said, and one family after another said the same thing and kept walking. He was a South African Boerboel, bred for centuries to guard farms against predators, and that ancient purpose was exactly what made people afraid of him. Then, a couple with a 3-year-old daughter did the thing everyone told them was reckless and brought 200 pounds of Boerboel into a house with a small child. And 7 months later, on an ordinary afternoon in their yard, that enormous dog did the one thing he had been bred across 1,000 years to do, and it is the only reason their little girl is alive. Magnus was a Boerboel in his prime, 200 pounds of fawn muscle with a black mask and the calm, steady, watchful temperament the breed is known for. He had been surrendered when his previous owners moved somewhere they could not keep him, and from the moment he entered the shelter, his size worked against him. People came in looking for a family dog and saw an animal that weighed more than most grown men. The staff knew the truth, that Magnus was gentle beyond belief, that in 117 days he had never shown a single moment of aggression to anyone, not to a volunteer, not to another dog, not to a child who reached through the bars. But they could not get families past the number on his card. 200 pounds, Boerboel, guard breed. Day after day, a dog whose entire ancestry was about protecting the people he belonged to sat in a concrete kennel while families chose smaller, safer-seeming dogs. He was 4 years old, healthy, house-trained, and completely sound, and still not one family in almost 4 months was willing to take him. I still see you haven't subscribed. Magnus waited 117 days, while families called him too dangerous for children. And in a minute, you'll see what he really was. Tap subscribe first. Nathan and Erin Bennett were not looking for a giant dog. They had a 3-year-old daughter, Lily, and they lived on a few acres of rural property outside Boise. And what they wanted was a family dog, something friendly for their little girl to grow up with. But Erin had grown up on a farm, and when she saw the 200-pound Boerboel at the back of the shelter, the one nobody would take, she asked to meet him. And what happened in that visiting room decided everything. Because when they brought 3-year-old Lily into the room, 200 pounds of Boerboel lowered himself to the floor with astonishing care, inched forward on his belly until his massive head was level with the little girl, and let her put both hands on his enormous face without so much as blinking. He did not need to be told to be gentle. He simply was, as though he understood exactly how small she was. Erin started to cry. Nathan, who had walked in certain that a 200-pound dog and a toddler were a terrible combination, watched a giant animal treat his daughter like something sacred and changed his mind completely. They took Magnus home. Every single person they knew told them they were making a mistake. Magnus and Lily became, from the very first day, inseparable. The 200-pound dog nobody had wanted appointed himself the personal guardian of the smallest member of his new family, and he took that job with the total seriousness of a breed that has been guarding families for 1,000 years. Magnus lay beside her while she played for hours at a time. He followed her from room to room at the slow, careful pace of an enormous animal moving around something tiny and precious, never once in 7 months so much as knocking her off her feet. And when Lily went outside into the yard, Magnus went with her, every time, without fail. A mountain of a dog moving at the pace of a 3-year-old, never more than a few feet from her side. The Bennetts had worried about his size around a small child. What they discovered instead was that Magnus was so aware of exactly where Lily was at every moment, so careful with his enormous body, that he was the safest presence on the property. And there was something in the way Magnus watched over Lily outdoors that went past devotion into something older. A Boerboel's entire history is guarding farmsteads against predators, animals bred to stand between a family and whatever came out of the dark. And Magnus kept that ancient watch over a little girl in a rural yard, scanning the tree line, tracking the edges of the property, positioning himself between the child and the open land beyond the fence. The family thought he was simply devoted. They called him her shadow, her bodyguard, her giant. They did not yet understand that the instinct everyone had been afraid of, the exact quality that had made 117 days of families walk away from him, was about to be the only thing standing between their daughter and something that was coming. If you have ever watched the thing everyone feared turn out to be the thing that saved you, you already know what this felt like. The months passed and Magnus became the center of Lily's world and the quiet, watchful heart of that rural property. The Bennetts stopped hearing the objections of everyone who had told them a giant guard dog and a toddler could not mix. There was only Magnus, Lily's Magnus, 200 pounds of gentle devotion who let a 3-year-old hold his leash and pull his ears and fall asleep against his side. They had taken the dog nobody wanted, and they had gotten a guardian. And then, on an ordinary afternoon in early autumn, they found out exactly kind of guardian he was. It was late in the day, the light going gold across the property, and Lily was outside in the yard playing near the fence line the way she did every afternoon, with Magnus lying a few feet away watching her. Aaron was inside at the kitchen window, and then Magnus came off the ground. He came up so fast and so hard that Aaron saw it through the glass and knew instantly that something was wrong. And when she looked past her daughter toward the tree line, she saw them. Coyotes. 3 of them out of the brush at the edge of the property, moving into the open yard, moving toward a 3-year-old child standing alone in the grass. Coyotes do attack small children. It happens, and it happens fast, and Lily was 30 yards from the house, with nothing between her and 3 predators closing the distance. Aaron was already moving for the door, and she knew even as she moved that she was too far away and too slow. And Magnus did the thing that saved her. He did not bark from where he stood. 200 pounds of Boerboel crossed that yard at a dead run and put himself between the little girl and the coyotes, and everything 1,000 years of breeding had built into him came out at once. He planted himself in front of Lily, an enormous muscle and noise, and the sound that came out of him was not the friendly dog the family knew. It was the sound of an animal bred to hold a farm against predators, and the coyotes broke and scattered back into the brush and did not come back. Erin came out of that house running and found her daughter untouched, standing behind 200 pounds of dog that had not moved an inch from in front of her, still facing the tree line, still standing guard. They stood there in the yard, shaking, holding their daughter, and they understood exactly what had almost happened and what Magnus had done. 3 coyotes had come out of the brush toward a 3-year-old, and the dog that 117 days of families called too dangerous to have around children had crossed 30 yards in seconds and made himself the wall they could not get past. Without him, Erin would have been running from the kitchen door across a yard she could never have crossed in time. The same 200-pound Boerboel that families walked past for 117 days, the same dog everyone called too big, too powerful, too dangerous to keep around a little girl, the same gentle giant a shelter could not place because of what people assumed he was. He was not too dangerous, and he was not too much. He had been bred across 1,000 years for exactly one thing: to stand between a family and whatever came for them. And the first family that looked past his size to what he actually was got a guardian who put himself between their daughter and 3 predators without a single moment of hesitation. They had been warned he was a danger to their child. He was the reason they still had her. Erin told their story, and it spread far past Boise, because every parent who heard it felt the cold of what could have happened and the flood of relief and how it ended. The shelter was flooded with calls about the big dogs, the guard breeds, the giants that families keep walking past. 9 large breed dogs that had been passed over for their size found homes in the 3 weeks after it spread. Today, Lily is a happy, thriving little girl growing up on that property with a 200-pound Boerboel who has never once left her side. And Magnus is older now, gray coming into his black mask, slower than he was, but still exactly where he has always been, a step from that little girl watching the tree line. He still goes out with her every single time. He still puts himself between her and the open land. And every single day, a 200-pound Boerboel still walks beside the child he guards, still refuses to let her walk that yard alone, still keeps the ancient, patient, life-saving watch that 117 days of families called too dangerous to bring home. Because as far as Magnus is concerned, standing between Lily and the world is the whole reason he was born. We look at a big, powerful dog, and we count his weight and his breed and his reputation, and we decide he is dangerous, a risk, the last thing you would ever put near a small child, and we walk past. We never once ask whether the very thing we are afraid of might be the exact thing that saves a life, whether the animal we would never trust with our children might be the one who stands between them and the dark. Sometimes the dog the whole world called too dangerous is the only reason your daughter comes back inside. So tell me, was Magnus too dangerous, or did the dog nobody wanted turn out to be the reason one little girl is alive? Drop your answer in the comments, and if a dog ever protected someone you love, say his name below.